Oh, so I can shut this off.
But it's right on my alley.
That's right. That's right. So this.
Speak right out. Oh, am I the only one that's got windows that is going to affect?
No, I'm excited.
You can change it to meet the crowd.
No. No, I feel bad for talking about lots of Mac stuff ever since I personally switched to a Mac. But I have a Windows laptop at home still that usually works.
Yeah, but don't do it just for me.
No, I'm not. No, this is a so Windows 10 came out a year ago and 3 days or something like that. It was July 28th, I believe. So that 1 year opportunity for downloading or upgrading for free is now over. So if you didn't upgrade, you now have to pay, or you just buy a new computer and it comes with it, like any new computer does. But no, I'm excited because I do have a laptop at home, and I think some of these things will be really beneficial, assuming, and this is part of the reason why I say my laptop at home sometimes works, is because it hasn't been able to, whatever the last update was that came out, my laptop won't download it. Or it downloads it, but every time it goes to install it, during the reboot process, when it finalizes the installation, it fails every time. And so it's frustrating. But anyway, so they're calling this their anniversary update because it's now been a year, and it's a pretty big update. But no, Sandy has a PC at home. That's her main computer, even though she's got Apple portable products, and Bob's got a PC at home as well. But I don't think you're running 10. You've got the old XP. Yeah.
To give you an idea how old it is.
Yeah.
I've got a few files that I have not transferred over.
Haven't done that yet. Yeah.
Matter of fact, probably a couple of hundred of them documents
Mm-hmm.
that I don't use very often. So when I need them, I boot it up.
Yep.
Print them.
Yep. And, for anyone who's interested, you can, there are options for Mac users if you still have a need for a Windows computer and it doesn't make sense to buy two separate computers. Windows has a built-in program called Boot Camp, which allows you to partition, which is dividing your hard drive into however big you want, and then you can install. You have to have an actual copy of Windows, but you can install Windows onto your Mac. Or there's a separate program.
What's the downside of that, partitioning your hard drive?
So if your hard drive's a terabyte, which would be 1,000 gigs, you can divide it in half. But that means that half, or however much you allot to the Windows portion of it, cannot be used by the Mac.
But I assume you could allocate it 30/70 if you want.
Yeah. You can allocate it as in any percentage or exact megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte size you want. But for like my laptop, because it has the new flash storage, it's not as large a hard drive. And so for me, I haven't done it because I'm concerned about space and having two hard drive or two operating systems, because the operating system takes a couple gigs just to run the operating system, and then anything you then put on that other partition will then add up to your total. It's all based on your total hard drive, so that will affect it as well. So that's another potential downside. And then there's also a Parallels program, which you can purchase. I got when it got thrown in when I bought my Mac, but again, I still haven't done it. So you can run both of those side by side, and that's helpful because there are some things that, Windows is so much more used by the populace that there's a lot more programs out there that don't exist for Mac. And one of those things that I'm having to get used to is Microsoft Office comes with a program called Publisher, and they don't, there's no Mac equivalent and Microsoft does not make Publisher for the Mac. And so all these old Publisher files that we have on our PC you can't use on our Mac. So that's another thing that we have to get used to. So the 10th anniversary update, it comes out tomorrow. Cortana, I don't know if you use Cortana. It's that little search lady in the bottom left corner, right next to the start menu. You can type in there and she'll tell you anything that you want. It'll search the web, it'll search your computer, everywhere. So if there's something that you can't find, you can just type there and she'll start trying to find the answer for you.
I think I turned her off. 'Cause
Yeah.
She's annoying me.
Yeah, well, the speaking part you can turn off, yeah. So she's going to get a lot better and smarter. Let's see. Windows 10 will interact. So if you have an Android phone or a Windows phone, so iPhones are out of luck because iPhone doesn't allow that kind of access to their phone from third-party applications. But with your Android phone, you can sync it up now even more than you have been able to in the past. And you can get any notifications that you get on your phone, they will now pop up as notifications on your laptop. It'll warn you if your battery's low, all kinds of things. So, and there's a phone tool in there, and so when the update comes out, you can you download an app, the Cortana app, on your phone, and then you enable Cortana on your laptop, and it'll seamlessly integrate. So anything that happens on your phone, you will be able to, not anything, but lots of things that, and you'll get notifications. So if something happens on your phone and you're not near it, your laptop will let you know what's going on your phone. More desktop apps and games come to the Windows Store. It's really not that exciting. There's a new dark theme, so you can make things dark. And that could, you could even use that to, if you're using your laptop or your desktop at nighttime, you could even temporarily turn on the dark theme so that things are more mellow colors and darker instead of that bright white shining at your face. Microsoft Edge, which is their built-in browser, if you use that, it now supports extensions. Extensions are things like we've talked about, that Web of Trust extension that allows you to safely see if a website is safe or not before you even click on it in a Google search.
Huh.
So this will now support extensions. I don't know why it took them a year to do that, but because extensions have been around for quite a long time. Extensions do, you can have one that just shows a little weather pop up of what the temperature is in your area. Extensions do pretty much, it's kind of like apps. If you have an idea of what you want an extension to be, they have them. There's extensions for Amazon. So you can add something from another website to your Amazon wish list. And if you click on that, if someone clicks on your wish list for that item, it'll take them to that website to buy that item if Amazon doesn't have it or if it's cheaper somewhere else.
Oh.
So there's all different kinds of extensions that you can add. So their browser will finally get that. So when you go and visit websites, there's lots of advertisements, as we've experienced, and some of them automatically start playing, and some of them even have sound, and you're like, where's that? Whose voice is talking to me? Well, now Microsoft Edge, the built-in browser, has will auto-pause flash advertisements. So they won't start automatically playing anymore, and they'll only play if you click on them, which is really nice because I've had that before. You hear this woman talking to you about something and you realize it's an advertisement.
Yes.
So this will auto pause them once the website loads, which is really nice. Just realized I should probably show this online. There we go. I don't know that you have to have special hardware for this already on your computer, but Windows brings fingerprint authentication to apps and websites. So some laptops where your trackpad is has a fingerprint scanner built into it, much like our phones have the fingerprint scanners, which would let you log into your computer. Well, now they're extending that. It's called Windows Hello. Now extending it to apps and websites. So if you have an application, you don't want people to access it, you can now enable it to only open up if you have your fingerprint scan. But again, you have to have the special software or hardware, not just software, but hardware to do that. Or they have this little device that will work as your fingerprint scanner, which seems a little odd, but yeah. If yours is a touch screen, Windows Ink, which is a drawing tool, there's more improvements to that. I didn't even know that this had happened, but Wi-Fi senses controversial password sharing feature is gone. So apparently you could allow people in your Outlook or Hotmail contacts, you could share your Wi-Fi password with them. So they basically wouldn't have to ever enter it in. As long as you shared it with them via this share feature, then they could automatically connect to your Wi-Fi network without you ever having to tell them the password. And it was controversial because if someone hacks the password, then they can start sharing it with anybody and free Wi-Fi for in private homes that weren't meant to be shared. So they got rid of that. Let's see. Windows Defender, which is a built-in malware program. It used to, as soon as you installed a different antivirus program, like Avast or Norton or one of those programs, this would automatically shut down and no longer work. Now it has a feature where it will still work, but it'll only work when the other one isn't currently doing something. So when your main program runs idle and you're not doing anything either, it will periodically scan your computer as kind of a backup or a second protection to that. New PCs will include more advertisements in the start menu. But that's only if you buy it brand new. So when you click on the start menu, you get that big window now with all your different tiles and the start menu stuff on the left-hand side. There are some advertisements for, download this game or install this app. Well, apparently with this new update, that will be even greater. There would be even more in your face than it was before. Mm-hmm. But if you've already got your computer, that really won't affect you. They once again mentioning Cortana being even more useful in what she does if you use her. Skype. So I don't know all the details on this, but Skype has been kind of back and forth on whether you use the app version or the desktop version on your Windows laptop, because there's slight differences. And so now it looks like they're going to a universal one. So there's no different versions of Skype anymore. Yeah. Apparently they had that, then they got rid of it, and now they're bringing it back. So this won't affect anyone, but Windows now has its own Linux command line. This is kind of, if you ever remember DOS, where it was all text and you had to type everything to execute programs and things like that. Well, Linux still has that in its operating systems, and so does Sudomax. It's called the command line. And so they are now bringing this in, and this is more for developers or people who run both Windows and a Linux operating system like Ubuntu. Apparently it's even easier to, if you ever need to restore your computer to factory settings, it's even easier to do now. And it's saying that when you do it, it won't reinstall the bloatware, which are all those advertisement things. So I don't know what they do anymore, but it used to always be, you used to always get AOL and all those things pre-installed. Well, if you restore your computer back to factory settings, it won't install those things anymore, if I'm reading this correctly. And then the start menu has been redesigned once again. You'll see a full list of all of your apps on the right. This will stay the same, but it looks like you'll get all of your apps listed there, and things won't disappear. Apparently, when you used to click on something, all of your other options used to go away, and then you'd have to click away and then click back, like to turn off the power or to go to different sections. So now if you look at this screenshot right here, you see the power option, settings, and your file system are still there, even though you've gone into a different part of the start menu. So I guess people were getting frustrated that there wasn't an easy way to go back or to access those common features. So they're all sitting there on the very, very far left and don't go anywhere anymore. Task view, so if you're switching, let's see, I've been doing this. Of course, it's not going to do it. Oh, there we go. So this is task view for a Mac. It basically brings up all your open windows. And Windows has that as well. And so there's some improvements that have happened to it. You can switch between applications even faster. And then tablet mode, I don't know if anyone, I think Bill is the only one who has one that's also meant to be a tablet, and Bill's not here today. But they've changed the way that it, when you switch it to tablet mode, it looks to Windows 10. If you use the calendar, there's more calendar integration. The calendar's always appeared right here, but it used to not be able to really do anything with it, which seemed weird. But now when you click on it, it will pull up your calendar and you can see anything that you've synced in it for any appointments or anything that you may have. And the lock screen has improved. So your email address won't appear anymore, which people were frustrated with, because if someone clicked on it, they may not be able to get into your computer, but then now they know your email address right away, which is, it's true. I never thought about that. Battery. So if you're running on a laptop, the battery, you can adjust the settings. So like Cortana, you can always allow Cortana to run in the background or never allow her to run in the background. That's kind of like with our phones we talked about last week and we've talked about before, that background refresh. This is kind of that same thing. And so it'll say battery for laptops. So you can shut Cortana, never allow her to run if you're not actually using it, and other programs as well. And then the update, oops. When Windows updates, it now, you can change the hours that you were typically on your computer. You can set that, and so Windows will not update during those hours. So a couple weeks ago when the church computer updated to Windows 10 right before the service started, it won't do that anymore. because you can tell it when to update and when not to update, and it'll do that. So if you say that I use my computer from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., then it won't ever update during those hours of the day. And then, let's see, apps. So if you have an app installed and you go and visit their website, so if you have, I don't know if they have this, but if you have Google Maps app installed on your Windows 10 device and you go to Google Maps website, it will automatically transfer you to the app, recognizing that you have it installed, much like it does with your phone. You know, if you go to facebook.com, it typically kicks you straight into the Facebook app, or Amazon. If you go to amazon.com in Safari or whatever web browser you're using, it'll kick you straight into the app, realizing that you have that app. You get more emojis because everybody loves emojis. I didn't read about that one apparently. And that's about there. I mean, there's a ton more stuff. Here's all the other little things that they've tweaked as well that I didn't read about. But so there's a lot of things coming in the new update tomorrow. So it'll come out sometime tomorrow. And again, like with any update, it's usually good to wait. You can, if you're really interested or excited, you can do it tomorrow, or let it do it on its own whenever it decides to, or wait it. I typically say wait a day or two because everyone wants, not everyone, but lots of people want to get it on day one. And so there's typically more frustration with that than there is actually accomplishing anything, which we also learned about when we upgraded to Windows 10, that there was a lot more frustration in the process because so many people were trying to do it.
So it will automatically update at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you have automatic updates turned on, which
Can we check that I do?
yeah,
Down the road.
yeah, then it should automatically do it in the next couple days. Yeah, so it comes out sometime tomorrow, and your computer will recognize it and download and install at some point. Yep. So, and this is, if you want to look at this in more detail, this is howtogeek.com, and then so you can just search for that and search for what's new in Windows 10 anniversary update, and that's the article that we just went through together. It was the one that I found that had the most in-depth information on what's coming up. All right, what else is going on? That's all I had for Windows 10, but it's a big update, so it was definitely worth
Good question.
covering.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Susan the other day, when she pointed it out to me, she used her credit card for a purchase at a restaurant. And then later that day, or quite quickly, if I recall, she got an email from the restaurant basically asking, how did you do? What do you think? Et
Well,
cetera,
I
et cetera.
copied my receipt. And yeah, it was pretty.
Okay.
So how does that work, and how can you prevent, when you use your credit card, the vendor getting access to your email?
It might have been, and you may not have noticed, but I get that too. I go to at the Capitol Mall. There's a place called Berganza Tea, and they use the Square, which is what we use here at the church for our youth stuff, Square credit card reader. And because I'm also registered with Square, it recognized my credit card. And so I get an emailed receipt, and at the bottom of the receipt, it always asks for feedback.
This
on
was
the
a
digital
little restaurant out of Sisters, Oregon. I'm a little hole in the wall.
Yeah.
I didn't think they'd even be computer literate. And everything was on iPad, and it was like,
Yes, so they
wow.
probably were using
You know?
Square, or they might have been using Amazon Pay. And I don't know.
But her But the question is, the credit card issuer apparently has her email address.
Right.
Why, I can understand why, but how are they releasing that to the vendor? And how do you prevent that from occurring again?
I would check the bottom of the email and look for an unsubscribe button.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know how the ins and outs of, is it a partnership that they have where, it automatically happens
Yeah.
once they initially set it up or what? But yeah, Berganza Tea is the only one I get them from so far. But yeah, if it's somehow with the Square program and they have some kind of partnership or something with the credit cards companies where they're able to, well, they email you the receipts. Home Depot does that too. If you give them your email address, Home Depot will email you their receipt for you. And they try to be that as a convenience thing
Yeah, it's
slash,
convenient and cheaper for them.
yeah, and
But
not
again,
having to
that-
print
that-
paper. Yeah.
I've had them ask me,
Yep.
do I want an email receipt? And I've said no.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously they have a method of acquiring my email that I would like to stop.
And that's a much deeper question and beyond what I currently know about that system. But yeah.
Maybe that question needs to be directed to the credit card issuer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd talk to them and see if it, because I don't know who it originates with. Does it originate with your credit card company because you do online banking and so they've got your email address via that way, or I think with the Berganza Tea, it's because I do have a Square Trade account.
Yeah, okay.
But maybe that's not right. Maybe it is because I do online banking, all that stuff. So maybe it's done that way. So I don't know what direction it goes. So, but yeah, I would look on the email.
There's no way to unsubscribe.
There's no. It's usually like tiny fine print at the very bottom of the email. Okay. Yeah.
I went to, so it is Square Up.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yeah. So that's the program.
It's the advertising,
That's
but here's the actual email.
Yep.
But there's nothing. You've got a place if it's not your receipt, but there's no.
Manage preferences for digital. So that's not unsubscribe, but I think it's. But you don't have a Square account.
I don't.
Oh, there you go. Unsubscribe.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So now that place won't send those to you anymore.
But just that.
Unfortunately, it's going to have to be an
Every
individual
vendor, okay.
basis.
Because I've had that happen before.
Yeah. So somehow Square has a partnership with the credit card companies.
Did they use the Square?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that receipt was from Square
Yeah.
via that restaurant. So yeah, if you see little iPads or little Kindles or something, they're most likely using Square or Amazon Pay. I don't know if Amazon, maybe it's Amazon Pay, but Amazon has one too.
Right.
Yeah, and the church uses it. Sorry, the church doesn't. The youth group does. Yeah, so that we can accept like during the musical season.
I got it,
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, we use it, and it's pretty. Though they're pretty reasonable. It's 2 3/4%, I think, per transaction.
That's significant.
It adds up, but the amount of extra traffic we get because
Well, oh, no, I may be justified, but that is.
Yeah. it is. It used to be higher. The more popular it's gotten, it's lowered down. I think it used to actually start. I think it started at 3 3/4%.
Oh,
So now, and maybe it's lower now.
Money make
But-
a deal for them.
Yeah. Or if you are a high traffic business, you can pay a flat monthly fee. So you got to find that cutoff point.
Maybe there might be just a flat transaction fee with some of them.
Mhm.
Cents a
Yeah,
dollar.
and they're all, and with the fact that there's a couple out there, so there's Square and there's Amazon and there's actually a couple other ones. They may be driving the percentage down because they're competing for customers. So yeah, but that it looks like that would be an individual thing. So if you went to another restaurant or store that used Square, then you'd have to unsubscribe from that one as well, which is unfortunate.
But now that I don't have to do that,
Yes. Other questions? Thoughts? Apparently, there's even rumors that there's going to be an iPhone Pro. So there will be, well, technically 4 models because there's the SE, which is the old small screen design. And then there's so there'll be the 7 Plus, and then potentially the 7 Pro. Because there's been leaks that one of the new phones, at least, is going to have 2 cameras on the back, which you know, no one knows exactly what I mean, they've got speculation of the exact purpose of the dual cameras, but no one can say for sure this is why you would have 2 cameras. Some of them say it's for taking better pictures. Some of them say it's
3D.
I don't know if it could be 3D.
there you go. That'd be cool.
So there's, and I forget, I read it and I don't remember all the reasonings, but there's different ideas that people have behind the dual cameras. So
What's the difference with a Pro?
they think the Pro is going to have the dual cameras.
Okay, but the Pro is.
It's probably going to have,
Or,
it may be the same size as the Plus, but it may have better, just like besides the Plus being bigger screen size,
right?
it also has that image stabilization on the camera. So the Pro may step up and have something more to offer.
Okay.
Also, there's rumored that we'll get a 256 gig model of the iPhone 7, and some people are speculating that may be reserved for the Pro only, and that with the 7 and the 7 Plus, you'd only get the 128 as the largest hard drive space.
Oh,
So like they've come out with the iPad Pro now, and the iPad Pro supports the Apple Pen or Apple Pencil, and it has a built-in charging thing for it. The iPad Pro also has 4 speakers on it instead of just 1 or 2. So you get speakers, so no matter which way you hold whether you hold it portrait or landscape, you're gonna get that full stereo experience in the appropriate way. It also has the processor, and some of the hardware inside is better. So that's probably what you'll see on the Pro, if it actually exists and comes out this year.
so that's like the super.
It's like top of the line.
Top of the line.
Yep,
more
yep.
Expensive.
Yep. So it's more than just storage space. It's gonna have everything you could ever want in your iPhone. I don't know. We'll find out. So. Any other questions?
Well,
No.
You're still on Windows?
I do. Well, I've got my Windows laptop. My Windows laptop is plugged in upstairs into our TV that we have upstairs. We don't have a one because I don't. Well, it's a laptop, so it's got its own monitor. But I plug it in there, and now I've got 40 inches of Windows 10 in my face. But we don't have a TV box upstairs. And so because we have Xfinity through Comcast, it recognizes that this computer is plugged in or is on the same Wi-Fi network as what we pay for our service. And so we can access live and on-demand TV through the laptop without having to have a cable box.
General question.
Yep.
This is linked via Bluetooth, I assume, to a wireless printer I have
No, it's just through your Wi-Fi network.
through my Wi-Fi
Yeah.
network.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So that is the network in the house?
Yep.
How can I link my cell phone to print
Same
to the
thing.
same printer?
Same thing. There's
Where would I go in here?
well, so that's the interesting thing. There is no print. I don't think there is. There's no setting for printer. Print. Oops. It helps to spell the word right. Print. No. Yeah. There's not, which seems very weird. Which is why Richard was always confused because he was using his laptop or his iPad as his laptop, desktop, whatever, everything.
And you can't print.
Well, you can, but there's no printer feature or setting, or there's a feature. There's no printer setting in settings. So what you would go to, for example, let's say you wanted to print a photo. So you would go into Photos. You would find the photo that you'd want to print.
Okay, so I go into Photos.
Yep. Let's see if I bring my handy dandy. There we go. All right, let's switch devices.
So I found a photo.
Yep. All right, so are we all there?
Yes.
Let me get plugged in. All right. There we go. So we're in Photos. Of course, it's not going to show it because I think I'm trying to. So in the bottom left corner is that up arrow.
Correct?
You click on that, and that's the share feature.
Right?
Right.
Then you've got two rows of
iCloud.
icons. Yeah.
iCloud photo sharing.
Nope. So the bottom set of icons that are in the gray
Yes.
scale, scroll,
To print.
and then click on print,
Okay.
and then select printer. And you're not going to find anything. Well, maybe you will. Maybe you'll find, the RV with a
yeah.
whole bunch of numbers and
Yeah,
letters.
Is that yours?
That's the church's copier.
So if I'm
my
at
gosh.
home, I should find.
You can't actually print to that because that requires a user
No,
code.
But if I were at home, it would pick up.
It would pick up your printer. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Wow, that's a big deal.
And then I could print.
Yes.
That saves a step because in the past, what I've done is I've taken that photo and I've moved it over to my MacBook and then printed from my MacBook.
Yeah. And if you have a PDF open or there's even other apps.
So I could print anything you're saying. Let's
Yep. Where is?
go to email.
Yep.
Okay. So now I'm reading an email. And I want
Yes.
to print this email. So I go to the bottom and there's a variety of icons.
Oh, except I'm not using that.
Which one would I use there?
Just a second. Let me see here.
Oh, not the flag.
No, and I've
Oh, the
been
little arrow hook. Yes.
sorry. I've been using a third-party mail application on my phone, so
Same
it's
process.
different.
Same
It
process.
should be the same process
Yeah,
as
it's
long as
looking
that.
for printers. No air printer found. Wonder what's looking for an air print.
That's. I don't think it's always it. used to be your iPhone used to have an AirPrint enabled, which was specific to it was a Mac feature. And so
But
I
it
think
should find.
that wording is still there, but it finds my HP printer at
So
home.
it should find my printer.
Yep.
So I'll just practice it and see.
Yeah. I'll sit downstairs and someone will send me a document, let's say the bulletin for Sunday, and I'll open it up, I'll click print, and I'll be sitting downstairs in my recliner, and upstairs my computer starts shaking, or printer starts shaking because it's on something that wiggles a little bit. So you hear the wiggling going, and you're printing. Yep, exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian.
No problem. Yeah. And yeah, the only reason it doesn't work on the one here is because it requires user authentication. Yeah.
So I just need to know if it's on automatic updates.
Yes.
It's on.
So you would go to setting, you would go to the start button, and then settings.
Settings, all programs.
Let's see. Or sorry, control panel.
Oh, there you go. You have to speak the right language.
I do, and you know,
I never know the right language.
I'm
I
a
know
visual person.
Well, I always learn something.
Yeah, let's see. No, go back up. Why is it not there? Try clicking on that. That's not it.
Search control panel. Here. Is it control panel or is it another?
No, it should be control panel. Interesting. You're not who I wanted.
Computer? Devices? No.
Excuse me.
Not computer.
Windows 10. Let's see here. No. Well, let's see. Suppose disabling and turning them off would get us to the same place as turning them on. Settings. Network and internet. Is there a network and internet section?
Oops, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Network and internet.
To the interview. View channels? Networks?
No, can you click on just the big, yeah, click on that. There we go.
I'm sorry, is it right?
No, yeah. Let me see what it says next. Because I'm not, click advanced options, which appears below the list of Wi-Fi networks.
Feel free.
It's interesting. It's definitely Windows 10, but this section looks like Windows 7.
It is Windows 7. I have Windows 7.
No, this start menu is the Windows 10.
So what do I have installed, 7 or 10?
I'm pretty sure it's 10.
But then when I was looking, it said something about Windows 7. See, it says Windows 7, back up.
No, restore to Windows.
I don't want
That's
that.
downgrading.
Yeah, I don't want that.
No.
So I have Windows 10.
Yeah. We're gonna use, yeah, because Cortana wouldn't be here.
Check the updates. That's Windows updates.
So automatic. Yeah.
So it is on automatic
Yeah.
now? Okay.
Yep.
So when it comes through, nothing but the same, and I'm mad at it, I know I did it myself because it is automatic updates.
That's right.
Question
When are they doing that?
Yes, Bob.
on my printer at home. I've got
Yes.
2 printers. I've got an old printer, and I understand that. But then the newer printer I have has got this little Wi-Fi button that I press. So that printer is then communicating with the Wi-Fi in my home.
Correct.
When it was set up, and it's been set up that way for quite some time,
Mm-hmm.
I assume that in the setup on the printer, I had to give it the passcode
Correct.
for the internet.
Yep.
And once that's set up, which it is, any device that goes and look for it, device will go to look for that. And when I select that printer, it'll work. Or if Susan wanted to print something with her iPhone or with her phone, she could probably do the same thing.
Yeah, or her laptop, as long as she's
Or-
connected to your home network.
So if she's at my home with her computer here, and she's connected to my Wi-Fi at home,
Yep.
my home, she could print a document on my printer.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as which you said it is, but as long as the printer is connected to the Wi-Fi
So
network.
if I get a new printer, and I'm eventually going to have to because this thing uses a lot of very expensive cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the setup with that, I would have to go through its menu selection and give it the code.
Yep.
For my Wi-Fi.
But just like any of our devices, once you set it up and it knows the code, it's going to remember it, so you won't have to enter it
Yeah,
again.
like when we come here.
Yep. Yeah. You automatically connect to the.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
boy, that's good to know.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is out of the blue, okay? But it's come up during this past week, okay? Total change of subject, but it has, okay. A friend of ours died recently, okay? Spouse does not have any of the passwords. Okay, so that got Dan and I talking about, if one of the
Password
other,
to
us, to our devices.
To
Yeah.
to this person's devices.
Right,
Laptop, cell phone,
right,
whatever.
exactly. Facebook, all that stuff, we had passwords. So, which if something happened to Daniel, I don't know his passwords, nor does he know mine.
Right.
So what do you suggest?
I would create either a document and print it and put it in the safe with each other's important passwords. Or if you have a password manager on your phone, then exchange passwords and keep them on your own personal device for that purpose, which doesn't hurt anyway, because then it's also acting as a backup in case something does ever happen to the other person's devices and they lose their own passwords, then you've got a backup of them. But yeah, I think, so those are 2 good options, having all of them printed out and then locked in a safe or some secure place, wherever that happens to be,
So if
buried
you
in.
were to save them on your computer or phone, is there a website you would suggest? I mean, they've come up every once in a while, just like, I
Yeah.
don't know if that's a safe one.
No.
Or, if
For-
they get in there, they've got everything.
Right, which is why I think having a printed copy somewhere, which never hurts, because there may be a point in which, if it is saved in the cloud and not locally on your device or somewhere, and your internet's down, or something happens, then you can't access it. So if you've got a hard copy somewhere, take it to the bank and lock it there, or wherever it is that you have a secure location, or just a location that you trust. Duct tape it to the back of a picture, and whatever you decide is good for you.
Treasure map.
But having that is a good option. Let me just
You
stop
store all of yours
the
Well,
broadcast real quick.
Let me